Hello. Say hi to me as you guys are hopping on. Hey, Anya. Hey, Bethany. You got to comment a little bit more. Like some posts. You'll be back to top fan. I have actually no idea how that whole thing works. I think it cycles every month, but sometimes people stay longer, so I have no idea. I haven't cracked the top fan code. Probably because I'm nobody's top fan. So sad. Hey, Casey. Hey, Maria. Hey, Meredith. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Andrea. Andrea's got the top fan badge. Now everybody gets to start saying hi to each other. It's the best. Okay, I'm gonna start a watch party also. Hey, Kristen. So, I was late. I apologize, you guys. Here's what happened. This is so crazy. So, I don't actually know what causes this, but I think it's prawn. I've become allergic to prawn, like in the last 2 years, which is crazy because I've eaten prawn my whole entire life. But I stopped eating it and I was getting this rash in the corner of my arm right here. And look how good my new tattoo looks. Speaking of alchemy, alchemical symbol for the Philosopher's Stone. There you go. The ultimate tool of alchemy, right? It is the alchemical tool, the Philosopher's Stone. Anywho, I would get these rashes in the corner of my arm, just this arm right here. And so I stopped eating prawn. They eventually completely went away. So I've been on this removals diet. This is my last day. Hallelujah. But I've been on this removals diet for the last 2 weeks. And I literally took like everything out of my diet. Dairy, meat, sugar, caffeine, So I've been eating really, really clean, and so like 3 days ago, the rash came back, and I was like, oh my God, I hadn't had any prawn, but I had been eating, because I had stopped eating meat, I had been eating like tons of Thai and Indian food, mostly Thai though, curries, like veggie curries and things like that, and soups, like Thai soups. And so I think there was prawn paste or fish paste that has prawn in it in those soups. But last night, my rash was like huge on this arm, and it had come on this arm, which it's never done before. And it was like from elbow to inside of my arm here. So I took a prednisone and I took 2 antihistamines before I went to bed last night, because I was just like crawling in my skin and itchy. Like I was so uncomfortable. And I don't set my alarm during the week if I don't have to, because unless I have something at 8 o'clock, like I won't set my alarm, because I normally always wake up between 6:30 and 7. So the first thing I had was this live stream today, and I was like, oh, even if I wake up at 7:30, I'll be able to get ready. I'll have an hour to prepare, to like have my tea, whatever, I'll be fine. And I don't like to keep my phone on, which is where my alarm is. So if I can turn it off, I turn it off. And I woke up at 8:45, but I think it was because of all the antihistamines. So that's why I was late. Long story for why I was late. I apologize for my lateness. It was later than I usually even am. Hey, Becky. Okay, well, I'm really excited to be here doing this series. It was interesting. I have been any contact with high iodine seafood. So I was eating fish, and it started, does mahi-mahi have a lot of iodine? It started after I ate mahi-mahi, and I never eat mahi-mahi. That's actually when it started. So after the first week, I was feeling like really weak on this diet, on this removals diet. So I started adding fish in. So I was eating fish, like I probably ate fish like 4 or 5 times in this past week. Hi, Vicky. First time here. It's so nice to meet you. Where are you from, Vicky? So that was when it first happened, was after, it literally came that night after I ate the mahi-mahi, and I never eat mahi-mahi. So frustrating. It's so uncomfortable, and yeah, I have a really bad reaction when I'm feeling itchy. I have so much trauma around it, because at 13, developed an allergic reaction to penicillin, and I like almost died. Like got the wheels hives that are like this big and then flat in the middle. They look like wheels. They look like tires. And they were in my throat. Like it was a really bad allergic reaction to penicillin, which is kind of the same thing that happened with this prawn paste. I'd been taking penicillin my whole life, and then all of a sudden developed an allergy to it. Hey, Laura. So anyway, I had hives, like they would not go away for like a year. Every time I would try to get off of so I was taking Zyrtec every day. Like every time I tried to get off, the hives would come back, and it just was like so miserable. So now anytime I have stuff like that, it's just like, it's overly traumatic. Like to me, getting hives is like one of the worst things. And it's just because of that time, like it was crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna look this up, high in iodine, because I've been racking my brain. I'm like, what, like I eat Thai food all the time. And then I was like, maybe it's just because I don't have anything else in my system, and my system is so clean right now that it's affecting me even worse. Mahi-mahi is one of the lower mercury fish. It's not telling me. It's not telling me if it's high in iodine. don't know. But I had a suspicion that it might have to do with the mahi-mahi. Anyway, I'll look into that later. Oh, I didn't even start the watch party. I was so busy talking to you guys about iodine and fish and allergies. Hey, Emma. It's good though. We allowed everyone to get here, right? And start the watch party. I was so busy talking to you guys about iodine. Yeah, so it may be something planetary happening as well. Tanya's saying her daughter's allergies have been off the charts for the last 2 weeks. So sometimes when we have planetary stuff going on, it also affects our physical bodies, right? So if that's happening for her, definitely it could be. I'm allergic to like 4 antibiotics. I'm allergic to. Vicky's from Florida. Welcome, Vicky. We're so glad to have you here. You'll find that the members of the Leah Land community are completely welcoming. They love everyone. Super inclusive. Okay. So, the Alchemy of Money. I'm really excited to be here sharing this content with you. I'm hoping that doing this live stream event is going to give me the kick in the ass to dive back into my book, which is being released as of right now on 4/4. But if I don't get my shiznit together, it's not going to be released until probably May 5th. For those of you that aren't aware, I'm writing a book called Wealth Alchemy, and I did the bulk of it in a virtual writers retreat at the beginning of January, and I sort of have like completely stepped away from the book since then, aside from a few hours here or there of doing refinement. And I've been in a little bit of avoidance, and I'm not sure what that's about. I'm super excited to get the book out there, and I've got 2 amazing pre-launch groups that I need to drop content in, but I've just been having a little bit of stickiness around it. So I'm actually going to do some clearing today. I'm taking myself through the spiral again right now with a money, wealth, and abundance focus. And so I did level 1 and I haven't done level 2 yet. So I'm going to take myself through level 2 of the spiral today with the money, wealth, and abundance focus as soon as this live stream is over. Well, after my team meeting, which is directly after this. And then hopefully I'll be able to dive back into the book, but I'm also hoping that this will super motivate me to jump back into it as well, because it's going to be amazing and I'm really excited to share it. Anyone that is watching on the watch party, if you want to come over to the business page where this live stream is actually being hosted, definitely do, so you can be part of the greater conversation. So the Alchemy of Money, let's talk about this so that I can just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to be covering this week. So if you've followed me for a long time, if you know me, you know that I'm completely and totally divinely led. So this is not a situation where I have actually said, okay, day 1's going to be about this, day 2's going to be about this, day 3's going to be about this. I don't do things that way. So I allow myself to just show up and deliver whatever the message is that needs to be delivered that day. But obviously, when the divine was like, okay, we're going to do this series. Originally, I was going to call it, what were we going to call it? The Energy of Money. The series was going to be called The Energy of Money. And I actually even put in, sent it over to my graphics designer and was like, okay, Energy of Money. And then the next day I was like, oh, no, it's The Alchemy of Money. So I want to talk a little bit about that, why that choice of words for this live stream event. And it is because, I'm all about alchemy these days, for sure, and transmutation. But when we talk about the alchemy of money, so alchemy is the transmutation of a base metal to silver or gold. I Phoebe's messaging me. Hold on. Come join us on my business page right now. What the heck? What is even going on here? My return key isn't working. This is crazy. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. My thing isn't working. My return key, like I can't send my message. Oh, there we go. Okay, so people don't leave it, it messes up the numbers. My Virgo rising doesn't approve. I didn't even get to see the 44. Well, look, 3 people dropped off because they were sick of me taking my time messaging Phoebe. I really don't care about that, by the way. If you're new to Leah Land, you know that we have lots of shenanigans. I'm certainly going to stop and respond to one of my favorite people if she messages me during my live stream. This is not about the formalities. So transmutation of base metals into silver and gold is what alchemy is. And for me, when we talk about money, originally I was going to call this series The Energy of Money because I really wanted to talk about this part of wealth consciousness work that is beyond logical. This part of wealth creation that's beyond the logical, that exists in the metaphysical realm. And so when I got the download to do the series, that's what we were going to talk about. I really wanted to talk about how so much of wealth creation, so much of this work is focusing on and raising our base energetic vibration, and identifying what the vibration of money, wealth, currency is, and then aligning our vibration to that so that we can be magnetic to it. So, and then as I was thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, that's, obviously it's a really, really important part, but how do we actually transform our vibration? How do we actually transform how do we raise our base vibration? And that is, for me, like, that's the alchemy. That's the transmutation. And then in addition to that, if you've ever worked with me doing anything, that it's about transmuting the limiting beliefs, it's about transmuting the programming, and it's about transmuting the emotionally conditioned responses. So all of the work that we do in wealth consciousness when you're working with me is about this idea. It's about alchemy. It's about transmutation. It's about taking something that is, right, which is our limiting beliefs, our conditioning, all the shit around money, lack and scarcity mentality. So we're taking what is, and then we're transmuting it into something greater, into something precious, into something of high value. And for me, like, the word transmutation is so important. Like, that is, we're not just releasing limiting beliefs, because I don't actually believe that you can just release limiting beliefs. And this is something that makes me a lot different than any other money coach that you're gonna come across. It's like, first of all, I don't even think I am a money coach. I don't like the word money coach because that's not what I do. I don't coach people how to get money. I help people transmute their shit to gold. I mean, like, that's pure and simple. That's what I do, right? So I am a wealth alchemist. And my goal is to teach all of you how to be wealth alchemists in your own life. Because it's not about, that I have this secret recipe that I don't have. It's like I don't have the philosopher's stone of wealth alchemy, right? It's a combination of several things, but they're not things that are not accessible to you. Like, right, the philosopher's stone as the actual material, right? Not the idea of the philosopher's stone, but the material of the philosopher's stone is so rare. And not many people have the ability to have access to it. For me, wealth alchemy is not the same. Each one of us, every one of you watching this live stream right now has the ability to have the philosopher's stone of wealth alchemy. And I want to be able to show you how to do that. Now, does it require tools that you possibly don't have right now? Yes. But all of the information, all of the data that you need, it's not like you have to go outside of yourself to get anything, right? Like, all of the data exists inside of you, and you absolutely have the ability to be a wealth alchemist and to transmute your money reality. So I was just gonna look something up. My brain's still running a little bit slow. I'm just a little bit into my tea now, so we're getting in flow. I was just gonna look up a word because my husband has made me a total etymology geek, and now I'm always looking up words. We have this really awesome online etymology dictionary extension in Chrome that I'm constantly looking up words on. I think I wanted to look up transmutation. Hey, Michelle. Anya says, you've showed me how it's possible to shift the money story and my true worth and the money as and to choose money as a lever. Yep. And to choose to always be connected to the divine. Amazing. We lost like 10 people there. They were like, "Ooh, we're not down with this. We're not down with this transmutation shit." So transmutation means transformation, change, metamorphosis, a change or shift, to change from one condition to another. To change, it comes from trans. Mutere is to change. Yeah. So I feel like I was looking up a different word. I feel like it wasn't transmutation that I was going to look up. Maybe it will come back. Now we have 33 on. People are dropping like flies. So this way of doing things, this content, the way that I deliver wealth consciousness work, it's not for everyone. It is not love and light. It is not purely affirming your way to a higher vibration. I do not believe that that works long term. Hi, Babsy. Hi, Mary. There's a lot of money coaches out there that have really good mindset programs that help you shift your mindset. And that's an important part of the wealth consciousness journey. But mindset alone does not shift your current reality. It's like putting hey Rhiannon, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches. It's like, it doesn't really matter. It's like, yeah, you can put the bandage on and that's gonna stop, it may stop the bleeding. It may, help to prevent infection for a while, but ultimately if the wound's too deep, it's not gonna heal correctly and you're gonna be left with a whole bunch of scar tissue. And this is what happens with money. I feel like there's this piece of wealth consciousness work and dealing with money mindset, if you will. Like, I don't even like the term. Like, I'm so over all these words that we're using. I'm like trying to come up with new terms because I'm like, oh, money mindset. But it's, there's this piece about working with money that a lot of people poo-poo, or a lot of people overlook or dismiss, I guess is the best word to use. And it is the trauma that many of us have experienced. Our money shit needs to be healed just like any other trauma in our life needs to be healed. And, you know, you wouldn't say to a sexual abuse survivor or a physical abuse survivor that they just need to affirm their way to healing, right? And I don't want to get into a debate. This isn't a, you know, money and scarcity trauma is worse than or equal to sexual trauma or abuse, or, you know, physical trauma or abuse, or emotional trauma or abuse. I'm not interested in getting into a debate about that. I will tell you that I believe that money trauma is just as debilitating as emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and physical abuse, and trauma. But because it doesn't leave visible scars, or it's, you know, I think just overall it's something that's acceptable because so many people have experienced it and nobody talks about how debilitating it can be. Abusers often use money and finances as a tool for abuse. And so, you know, Anya's exactly right. Often money and sexual trauma, or money and emotional abuse, go hand in hand because it's a tool. Money is a tool that is used to control and is used to abuse. But this goes deeper because for those of us who have, I mean, I'm going to use an example of those of us who have ancestors that were ripped from their homes and sold into slavery. I'm not specifically talking about Black people right now, though certainly that's one instance of that. Many groups of people have had this happen where they have had their ancestors have been ripped from their homes and sold into slavery. It's happening all over the globe right now, right? To young men and women of all colors and all nationalities and all creeds are being ripped from their homes and sold into slavery. But when you take somebody from their home and you sell them into slavery and you treat them as a commodity and they become currency, when someone becomes currency, imagine the trauma around money that's created in that environment, in that situation, in that circumstance. So, and then as you know, we carry ancestral DNA memory, scientifically proven now for 7 generations, right? We carry 7 generations of ancestral DNA in our cells, ancestral memory. I believe it's much, much, much greater than that. And I think that, you know, as science improves, we're going to see more and more and more of that. But you're carrying that trauma. You carry that trauma of your ancestors. You carry that fear of things out of your control happening, right? I want to talk a little bit right now about the lack and scarcity mentality globally that we all experience, because this is another form of money trauma that often we don't even realize exists. But we are under control. There is a global financial agenda and a small group of elite people in power that control that global financial agenda that affects and impacts every single one of us on this planet. This is where a lot of the programming that I talk about in Ouroboros, this is what I'm referring to. That from the time you took your first breath on this planet, you have been looked at as a commodity. You have not been looked at as a human being. You've been looked at as a commodity. You've been looked at as a means to an end. So you are programmed from the time you're little to, certainly I'm going to talk about America because that's what I have the most experience with, though I'm sure many of you from all over the world will find parallel or similar circumstance in the country that you live in. But in America, for example, so you are groomed. What do abusers do? They groom their victims, right? You're groomed from a very young age to want and desire to grow up, to, in most cases, go to university, go to college at all costs. So that means if you can't pay for it and you don't get loans, you don't get scholarship. And I believe that the scholarship programs are also controlled by this global financial elite. So they're going to give you just enough scholarship that you will take out loans for the other part. So rarely are we seeing people get full scholarship, unless it's an athletic scholarship, right? Some get full academic scholarship, but that's few and far between. For the most part, go to university or college at all costs. We're going to give you a little bit of money that's going to incentivize you to go out and take out student loans so that you can take a loan, so that you can pay for university, and then you're going to owe interest on those loans to the bank, and you're going to pay it off over X amount of years, right? So we've hooked you, we've got you in on that. There's one interest payment that's going into banks that's supporting this global financial agenda. From about the time we're 16, we're being given, we want a car, right? From the time we're 16, we have to have a car, we have to be mobile. This is not the same in every country, I realize, but in the United States, we have to have a car, we have to be mobile. So what do we need to do to get a car? Well, maybe we need to get a loan, and maybe we need our parents to co-sign on the loan so that we can have a car, so that we can, possibly get an after-school job. So we may get a car loan where we're paying interest, right, to support the global financial agenda from 16. We're encouraged to get a bank account at that point. And then once we get the bank account, we're being sold on credit cards because they want us entering into that debt system as soon as possible. So come, get a credit card, have freedom to spend money on the things that you want. I know you're only 16, or I know you're only 18 and you don't really understand how to work with money, because we're not going to teach you about that in school, right? We're not going to teach financial education. We're not going to teach you about how to manage money in school, but we are going to get you hooked in to getting a credit card so that now you're paying interest in debt. And it's in our best interest actually for you not to be able to pay that debt and for that credit card to get charged off, which puts a blemish or a black mark on your credit report, which is is another tool that we absolutely are using to control you. So now you've got a car loan, you've got a credit card, you're paying interest on the car loan, you're paying interest on the credit card, now you're going to university, you are taking out student loans, you're paying student loans now for X amount of years. And why are we going to university? We're going to university so that we can get a good job, so that we can have a family, get married, have a family, buy a house, right? Buy a house. So we want a really, really good job. So we have to get secondary education. And then maybe we even need to go on and get our master's or a PhD. So we're adding debt upon debt upon debt with student loans. So then we go out and we get the job so that we can pay taxes, right? So that we can pay taxes on our income to the government. And now we're fully indoctrinated into this system of we're the perfect commodity, because now we're working to create income so that we can maintain this life that we've created for ourselves. And we're blindly giving away 30% of our income, 30%, sometimes more of our income to the government. We don't know why. We don't understand US tax law. Nobody's ever taught us about it. Nobody's ever trained us on it, unless, of course, we've become a tax accountant or a tax attorney. Again, very small percentage of the population, right? But we do something simply because we're told to do it, because we've been indoctrinated that that's the way, right? We don't question it. We don't wonder why we have to do that. We don't ask where our money's going. And we certainly don't understand how we're protected as the commodity. We don't understand what our protections are underneath that law. We just simply pay in. The IRS definitely wants us to become self-employed and fall behind on our payments, because then they can charge us penalty and interest on that tax money that we're meant to pay to them. And so I could go on and on and on here, right? But you guys get the point. So the cycle continues. We are born and bred to be the commodity that backs the currency, the global currency, right? So American citizens are born and bred to be the commodity that back the US dollar. Our labor backs the US dollar. So we're born a commodity. And yeah, so Tanya is a tax accountant, and she's saying that even if you're a tax accountant, they change the rules so fast you can never keep up with them. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? So every one of us is born into a system and structure that is designed to keep us in lack and scarcity mentality and continually chasing a dream that we never achieve. We never have enough. It's never enough. And eventually we fall into a place of acceptance that things just are the way they are, and that we believe that we have no control, and we it's the what's the word I'm looking for? Stockholm syndrome, right? So now we thank our captors, we thank our abusers for allowing us to keep the 70% of our money, and allowing us to have freedom if you're in America. So, I could go on and on and on and on and on about this, right? But the point is that I believe everything that we experience is orchestrated to keep us in a place to keep us controlled, to keep us small, to keep us within our class. So there are absolutely global class and caste systems. Now, you go to a place like India, or even here to Indonesia, and you will see, it's dramatically different than in the United States, right? People are rich or they're poor. And there's extreme poverty. Whereas you do have kind of these three classes in the United States. But rarely do people move from extreme poverty to middle class or upper class. If that happened, that does not support the global financial agenda. That does not keep the elite people in power. Redistribution of wealth on that level doesn't serve this system that has been set up. And so as a result, we have to stay in our place. We have to stay in our little boxes. And all of these things that I just talked to you about are the tools that they use to keep us there. They keep us indebted. They keep us in fear. They keep us in scarcity. They keep us in lack. And I mean, how many of you have gone on to have some success? I mean, like, this isn't to say that like many of us don't have success. Many of us don't make money. Many of us don't become really successful professionally in our careers. But how many of you have had a scenario or a situation where, you know, you've made a bunch of money and you should be really, really happy about that success, only to realize that like you're worrying about someone taking that money away from you, or something, you know, catastrophic happening that would be beyond your control that would take the money away. The stock market crashing, a depression, a recession, all things, by the way, that I believe are fully instigated and controlled by the financial global elite. Depressions, any depressions that we've had, any recessions, any stock market crashes, these things are definitely used to instill fear in the global community, right? In the beings of this planet. So, okay, where do I want to take this next? If you've ever been in a situation where you've owed a creditor or a debtor, or maybe you've owed a lot, you know, when our business collapsed and our business crashed, I had creditors calling me. I literally turned my phone on silent and stopped answering my phone. I stopped checking my voicemail. I literally would just delete the messages out without even listening to them. I was terrified anytime the doorbell rang or someone knocked at the door that somebody was going to be there serving me papers. It's exactly, Tanya. So if you've ever been in that situation where you've fallen behind in bills, think about that feeling that you have, like where you're literally in fear of answering your phone. You're literally in fear every time the phone rings. You're in fear anytime someone knocks at the door. Like, this is trauma. And even when we move out of that, even when we move out of the trauma, like we get back on our feet, we're able to pay off some of the debt, we're able to pay off some of the bills, we get the creditors off our back, that remains, right? That fear, that, you know, it's literally like post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Like, I still, to this day, like, I don't use my phone, I think, the way most normal people use. Like, I respond to text messages. I still don't, like, I will check my voicemail maybe once a month. Like, everybody that knows me knows, you don't leave me a message if you want to get in touch with me. You send me a message through Messenger, you send me a message through, you know, Telegram, or whatever other communication way you have to communicate with me. But that is left over from that experience, right? And it takes more than affirmations and mindset work to heal these tremendous traumas that we've been experiencing, certainly since we took our first breath on this planet, but even longer than that, that our ancestors experienced. You know, we have grandparents and great-grandparents who lived through the Great Depression that were so terrified of something like this happening again that, you know, they now have 2 or 3 year food supplies in their basements, because God forbid something like that happen again and all of their money's gone. Well, God forbid, exactly what Tanya said. Guess what? It's coming. It's coming. We are going to have another experience like this. We'll probably talk about this later in the week, about diversifying assets and you know, how to protect ourselves against these things happening, right? You are, so Tanya says, it's been 15 years since a vehicle got repossessed. And if I see my car loan come up on my phone, I freak out even though I don't owe them anything. Exactly, right? Like, it's just, you now, it's a trauma. And that is something for you that you can't mindset that away. You can't affirmation that away. Like, that's a trauma that needs to be healed. I mean, Tanya, like, that's very much something that you should do some clearing around, right? You should employ some of the tools that you have right now to release that. It's like that's something that you definitely can work on shifting, but it's a totally normal response. But here's the thing, we don't look at that and be like, oh, that's trauma. We're just like, oh, suck it up. You know, and money, we have to have money, right? We have to have currency to live, to survive. We have to have money. So it's not as if we can just walk away and be like, oh, this, you know, this trauma or this experience with this thing, money, it's not healthy for me, so I'm going to walk away from it like you would with drugs or alcohol. Like, you have to have money to survive. And so you're constantly going to be faced with those triggers from those traumas. Yeah, so, I mean, this is something that, like, I have learned to have so much compassion for my grandmother with this, because she's so, you know, I've felt like she's been very critical of some of the choices that I've made in my life. And the more I've understood this, the more I've understood the programming, the more I've understood what happened to her in her life, the more I'm like, oh, she's actually like, this is her showing love for me. This is her actually trying to protect me from these atrocities that she's experienced in her life, right? And it just makes me able to be a lot more compassionate. Yes, and absolutely, like, these stories are things that can be shifted through Ouroboros. And Tanya, you're joining us for the next round of Ouroboros, so that's super exciting. So, were we meant to come here as beings, as souls that chose to come down to this earth and to this planet? Are we here? Were we meant to be here to fucking ride the struggle bus our whole entire lives and to be trapped in this place of continual lack and scarcity, where we can't ever fully get ahead, where it's never enough? Like, is that what was intended for us? Is that what our Creator intended for us? Fuck no, it's not. It's not. We are meant to come here to this planet to create heaven on earth realities. We are here to experience our divine birthright. And our divine birthright is to be wealthy in all areas of our lives. So, for those of you that are new to me on this live stream or watching the replay of this live stream, what does it mean to be wealthy? Well, wealthy comes from two words: well-being and health. So literally, to be wealthy means to be well and healthy in all areas of your life. That is our divine birthright. That is what you are meant to experience in this lifetime. You are not meant to be being controlled by the global elite. You are not meant to be held in captivity. You are not meant to be traded as a commodity. You are not meant to exist in financial slavery consciousness. That is not what was meant for you. And so for me, it's like, this is the work that I'm here to do. And I did a post last night where I've been watching a lot of Greenleaf. You can almost always tell what I'm watching on TV based on the posts that I put out into the world. Hold on one second though. I just wanna... Everything with Cash. I'm gonna go back and read these. I need to make a note so I don't forget what I was talking about though. Yep, your credit score drives everything. It's the number one tool used to control us right now, because you can't get insurance. Often you can't even rent a car, right? And for a long time, they were controlling us through the need to have credit cards. And now that's become a little bit looser. I think because so much of the population is in poverty that it was debilitating. Like, so many people couldn't get a credit card that they had to shift that because they weren't able to, like, it was affecting the global economy to not allow people to purchase or travel. Or, I mean, here's the other thing. This is another program, you guys, that maybe you're not aware of, but we want you to work 40 hours a week, right? 50 weeks a year, so that you can take off 2 weeks. But on those 2 weeks, we want you to go out and overextend yourself on a very expensive vacation and go into debt, right? Because you deserve it. You deserve to have a break from the grind of working full time and giving away 30% of your income for you don't know what. And you guys, this isn't to say that paying taxes is bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay taxes. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying I think it's pretty fucked up that people are blindly paying taxes and they have no fucking idea why they're doing it, where the money's going. They don't understand tax law. They don't understand like the system and why it exists. For me, it's informed consent, right? This isn't consent. You don't consent to giving your money away. You have to, you're forced to. And we're not educated about it and we're not informed about it because it's fucking robbery. So anyway, that's me getting fired up about taxes, but, and it doesn't mean that you don't choose to play inside the program. You have to survive, right? Until the global financial structures crash, which I believe is coming this decade, you have to learn to play inside the program, which means most likely you're going to be paying taxes. But I really recommend that you get yourself connected with somebody that understands the tax laws of your country and explains them to you, at least in a way that you can understand where your money's going and what availability you have for protecting your money, your hard-earned money. Like, how do you save? How do you pay the least amount of taxes? That's what everybody should be concerned about. How do I keep the most amount of my money because I'm the one that's working for it? Anyway, I just went off on a tangent there. Yeah, and again, like, we're talking right now just about money, but we could just as easily be talking about the pharmaceutical companies, so our health, right, medical, and we could just as easily be talking about food, because those same people that control the global financial agenda control our medicine, so they control our health, they control our doctors, they control our medicine, so they control our health, and they also control our food. But yeah, credit score is driving everything. Then we moved into talking about credit cards. Yeah, so now you can do things with the debit card, but we literally are led to believe that you cannot exist in a cash basis, that you cannot exist. You have to have credit cards. Like, that's literally groomed into us, especially if you're an American, from a very young age. Well, I'll tell you this, my husband and I have been cash based for 4 years. We have 0 credit cards, and we live this amazing luxury lifestyle that we live cash based. So it's possible. My boyfriend just told me that they don't have credit scores or credit cards in Iran and they pay for everything in cash. Yeah, so I mean, it's really eye-opening to come to this part of the world and to go into some of these like Asian countries or Middle Eastern countries. Things are done so differently, and in so many ways, like, they operate so much better. One of the things that blew my mind when I first got to Bali was, I'm supposed to be on a staff meeting right now. I guess I should tell my team that I'm not going to be there. One of the things that blew me away was, like, you can't get, like, in the United States, you have to qualify, you have to have good enough credit to get a cell phone, right? Because you have to be on a revolving, like, credit line, where you use your services and then you pay for them at the end of the month, right? So that you can use services again, so that you can pay for them at the end of the month. In Indonesia, there, like, no such thing exists. You go and you pay and you get an amount of data on your phone and that's it. And then when you run out, you go pay again. Like, no credit check required, no, like, don't have to have an account with the company. It's like, no, you go give them your money, they put the data on your phone, you use it till it's gone, and then you put more on. And I was just like, this is crazy. And so telecom is ridiculously cheap. Now, if you look at it in proportion to like the wages that people make here, it's fairly close, but it's still less than what we pay in the United States. So like, I think I pay $30 a month for all my data that I use on my computer and my phone. I pay like about $30 a month. In the United States, I was paying $200 a month, right? 90, probably 150, right? Okay, I'm just letting Mallory know. All right. Same in Syria, not part of the banking system. Yeah, so, and it's really interesting to see, it's like, okay, are they depending upon, like, is the country, it's how tied in is the country to this global financial agenda, right? Are they contributing? With some of the Middle Eastern countries, they're contributing in different ways, right? That it's different because we're talking more about oil and wealth in that way, and they're controlling, the global financial elite is controlling those citizens through acquisition of oil from their country, less their actual labor, right? It's more keeping them in poverty, keeping them in lack and scarcity mentality, because we're coming in some cases coming in and stealing their most precious and valuable export. Another huge live stream for another day, right? How do I even know all of this? Okay, I just want to make sure I've got all the comments. Yeah, we can't leave money behind and just not deal with it. It's not possible. Nearly ready to go off grid. Yeah, and so, but how hard do they make it for you to go off grid? It's damn near impossible, right? Like, you have to have currency to survive. Like, it's insanity. So this is all the stuff that will change. Like, when these global financial systems and structures collapse, this will change. Don't get me started on holidays and how they just keep everyone in debt. Yeah, so Christmas, another huge program, right? You have to overextend yourself. Yep, you don't own your home. I lost my AT&T account last year when I fell behind on bills by 4 months, and I've had essentially a Go phone since then that I prepay $50 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, and I really can't see myself going back to a big carrier. Right, but they don't want you to know that, right? Like, they don't want you to know that you can go prepay for a cellular company and a cell phone. And, I have my thoughts and theories about that as well, that the big carriers are tracking us, and like those prepaid companies, it's not as easy to monitor us through those, so they don't want us using those. Yeah, iPhones, iWatches, iPads, all the I'm a little torn with Apple, because I actually don't think, well, who knows? I don't think that Apple complies as much as they would like them to. Their Apple holds its own bit of power, right? It holds its own, it has its own agenda. Yeah, iPhones. Okay, so I was saying, and I was talking about that you can usually tell what I'm watching in the evenings based upon my posts on Facebook. But I've been getting some questions the last few days about, like, why do you do so many free programs? Why do you do so much free content? Doesn't it devalue your brand? Doesn't it, why would somebody buy the cow if they can get the milk for free? And they've been interesting questions. And so last night I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, why do I do it? The first reason I do it is because I want to. I do it because I want to. I do it because it feels good. I do it because I love sharing content with you guys. So I'm watching Greenleaf, and I was like, this is my ministry. Like, this literally is my ministry. This is me showing up and spreading the word of the divine. The divine wants you to know that it wants you to know and claim your birthright. Like, we're not intended to be living in this prison, this financial prison that we live in. Like, that isn't what was meant for us. And so, yes, I will work with a smaller number of people at mid-level offers. My upcoming program, Ouroboros, is $3,000. It's a mid-level program. And I work with people at higher levels, like in my high-end mastermind, but these are small numbers of people, right? And not everybody's meant to work with me at that level. Not everybody, there are certain people that are here to change and make a difference in the world, and they need to work with me at that level in order to go out and fully claim their birthright and to be encouraged and guided to delivering their divine mission work. But I love to give. It's one of my love languages. It is one of my love languages. Giving gifts is one of my love languages, for sure. So yes, that is part of why I give as well. But not everybody's going to work with me at that level. Not everybody is meant to work with me at that level. It doesn't change the fact that part of my divine mission work is to end financial slavery consciousness on this planet, to wake up as many people as I possibly can so that they can go out and wake people up. I have to create a big enough ripple. And I can't do that through, just this smaller number of people that have the ability right now to work with me at a mid and a high level. And so as a result, like, how I can create that ripple is by going out and doing these free live stream events or doing free programs, the free program that I do once a year that we just wrapped, and bringing in new people into the community, bringing new people into the fold, giving them this information so that they can in turn go out and share it with others. And so that's why I do it. And do I believe it devalues my brand? Absolutely not, because I know for certain that the people that are meant to work with me at whether it's an entry level or a mid level or a high level, they're going to work with me at that level regardless of whether I am online giving free content every day or not, because you get a different level of access to me, you get a different level of information. And in most cases, instead of just information, you're getting tools. You're actually getting and having the ability to shift these things. You're being given the ability to heal your money trauma, right? When you come and join my program Ouroboros, or even my program Mastering Your Spiritual Money Game. Like, you are given that's where the transmutation occurs, is in those programs. And so I do have, I have my program Ouroboros is in launch right now. It is my, it's the heavy. It is the deeply, deeply deconstructive wealth repatterning program. It's a 4-month program. It's literally, we go in and excavate all of your rotting foundation. We get to the source of the vibrational deficiency, is what I feel like it is, right? Like, it's and I want to talk about this in a minute, because I want you to understand that like when you do mindset work, you're absolutely elevating your vibration. It's why you have immediate successes. It's why like when you sign up for a mindset program, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to shift this. I believe in this. Like you raise you elevate your vibration. And it is through the elevating of your vibration that you allow the universe to match that vibration and send you financial reward, right? So you might get a check. You might there's lots of ways that the universe is able to show up for you when you shift your vibration. But if you haven't addressed the cause of your base vibration being as low as it is, which is all these things that we've been talking about on the live stream today, you will continually come back down to that base level. And so you can affirm yourself and you're going to come back, and you can affirm yourself and you're going to come back. This is why mindset work alone doesn't work, because literally all you're doing is raising to come back and raising to come back and raising to come back. And nobody can fucking do affirmations for 2 hours every single day for the rest of their life. Like, it just doesn't work. And eventually that raise in vibration stops yielding the result from the universe of the financial support. And then you've got to learn to raise higher, but you're still returning to your base vibration. So this is the part for me that's really important, is that I desire to help people raise this base vibration, right? From most people operating in the 250, I feel like 250 to 300 is the base vibration, right? To 500. So that then where you're playing is 500 to 1,000, 500 to 1,000, love to enlightenment, right? Then we're really free. We're free in that area. We're not in chains, which is where we are. So I'm talking about the David Hawkins scale of consciousness. So if you're not familiar with that, go look it up. But we don't shift the base vibration without getting to the root cause of why the base vibration is so low in the first place, right? Without healing the traumas, without deconstructing the programming, without releasing the emotional conditioning. Because I don't believe that you can just mindset your way to release of limiting beliefs. I don't believe that that's a thing. I've never seen anyone be able to do it. It requires a whole lot more than just surface level love and light bullshit. I'm sorry, but money is a neutral resource, okay? And it has a vibration, it has an energetic vibration. Certainly it has a vibration, but it also will take on whatever is projected onto it. So if you believe that money is the root of all evil, programming, if you believe that it is bad, if you believe that it makes you corrupt, if you believe all of these things, then it absolutely is going to take on those traits and characteristics. If you believe that it is an ally, if you believe that it's a resource, if you believe that it's a tool that is meant to be used for you to achieve financial freedom, then that's what it's going to become. So that part of changing your beliefs and becoming an energetic match for money, that part is really, really important. But again, if you don't address the base, the reason that the base energetic vibration is where it is, you will get some short-term successes doing this work that everyone is out there in the field doing. It will not be as impactful as if you change the base vibration, if you're actually able to shift that. Then go on and do all this mindset work. It's like I have a client actually right now that did Ouroboros, both 2 rounds, round 1 and round 2 of Ouroboros, and she just signed up for Amanda Francis's Money Mentality Makeover. And I'm like, oh my God. Money Mentality Makeover is going to fucking blow the doors off for you at this point, because you've already cleaned up your shit, right? Now you're going to go into this program and have an amazing result from participating and from getting all of that. And that's when I think Amanda's program is amazing, and it was hugely influential for me in the early part of my wealth consciousness journey. I can only imagine what would happen now if I went back and did the program. But I believe there's an order to things, and I believe to have lasting success, you have to do this work. I was a dedicated student of all things wealth mindset and money mindset shifting for years, and had these experiences of this, right? Of this huge roller coaster with money. And it wasn't until I did this base root level work and deconstructed the programming that I actually was able to have stability and success in maintaining my financial reality and my financial situation, and to actually like achieving freedom. It's like painting a house without worrying about. Yeah, so I mean, I say this all the time. It's like, yeah, you cannot build a multi-million dollar mansion on top of a rotting foundation. It will literally fucking crumble. Like, it doesn't work. You have to lay the new foundation before you build the new house upon it. Like, it just, to me, it seems so logical and so reasonable, but here's the thing. People don't want to do the deep work because it's uncomfortable. People don't want to look at this shit because we'd rather stay asleep. We get a bigger payoff from staying asleep and just being compliant commodities inside this system than deciding to actually wake up, deciding to actually look, deciding to actually take radical self-responsibility and self-accountability for our current circumstances, which is another thing, and we'll talk more about that on the next live stream, actually. It's like, what does it require? I'm gonna make myself a note. Yeah, it is easier to love and light everything without looking at the root causes because it's not painful, right? You maintain your current level of pain because you never shift out of it, but you're used to that. Like, you're used to that level of misery. You're used to that level of pain. It's what you've come to expect in your life. And it's, but working with me at this level, it's really uncomfortable. There's several alumni on this live stream right now that can tell you like how shitty it is to have to actually deconstruct how we got here and to look at the things that you don't want to look at and to face the things that you don't want to face, and most importantly, to have radical self-accountability and self-responsibility for your current financial circumstances, and to realize that only you can change it. It's only you. You're the only one. Nobody else can change it. Raising base consciousness level. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's worth it. It's so hard, but it's worth it. It is, and so yeah, are you willing to be uncomfortable for 4 months of working with me and hating me most likely for a lot of that time to ultimately have financial freedom? Like, are you willing to do that? Is that something that like, you're like, yes, I want it. I want to change my circumstances. Are you sick enough of being held prisoner and feeling like money controls you? Like, are you truly ready to break out of that? Are you ready to take back your power? Are you ready to take back your financial destiny? Because there is an immediate and urgent call for us to do it now. And we'll talk more about this later in the week as well, that there is a sense of urgency right now about us stepping in and doing this work and taking back our financial destinies. And the reason why is because these financial systems and structures, they're going to collapse. And we have to be prepared for that. Because if we're not prepared for that, then we're even more vulnerable to what's going to happen after that. If you think that the global financial elite are not going to come back just as strong with a new plan for controlling us, they are, right? They are. They will. They will not be put down by the collapse of their financial systems and structures. It'll be a debilitating blow to them, but they'll be back with a new and improved way to control us. And I guarantee you it's going to be much worse, because we will have had this collapse. And so there is a sense of urgency of us taking back our financial destinies right now, so that when that time comes, we hold the power. We hold the keys to the kingdom, right? So we're going to talk more about this all week long. So we have 4 more of these live streams. I'm really excited to be sharing this content and information with you. If you have any questions or things that you really want me to talk about, definitely like comment here. Even if you're watching the replay, tag me. But here is something really important for you guys to know. One, if you just come upon this live stream and you have not registered for the live stream event, you want to go do that. And here's why. One, these live streams are only going to stay up for 24 hours on Facebook. We are then going to be taking them down and they will be moved over to my YouTube channel. They'll be put up on my YouTube channel actually like right away, but we will then be taking everything off of Facebook, and it will be this series will exclusively be hosted on YouTube. So one, if you haven't liked my YouTube channel, definitely head over there and subscribe so that you don't miss any of this content. If you, for whatever reason, can't be on the live stream with us in one of the future days. So you'll want to certainly like sign up and register. I'm about to give you the link. Hold on one second. I'm going to give you the link to register if you haven't already. The other reason that you want to register is because I am gifting everyone that registers for this free event my Mystical Manifestation series. It's one of my best-selling series, and it's a 5-module course that goes through the universal laws of manifestation and gives you all of my top tools and tips for real manifestation that works. So everybody's going to get access to that. If you register within 48 hours, you will be sent an email with telling you how to access the course. I'll give you a little piece of information right now. You will have to have subscribed to my YouTube channel. So if you haven't done that already, head over to YouTube and subscribe. And here's the YouTube channel link. And then you're going to be required to send a screenshot of your subscription. So go over and subscribe, take a screenshot. You're going to have to email the screenshot back to us to get access to the course. But yeah, I am thrilled to be able to gift you my Mystical Manifestation series. 5 modules, really, really epic content in there. I can't wait to share more of this with you. But when you register, we will also send you replays of all of the live streams every day. And then you'll get more information on how to work with me in the future. The YouTube channel also has heaps more free content on all of these subjects, so definitely might want to go watch that out, check that out if you loved this content today and you want more and you can't wait till tomorrow. Then definitely go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Our day 2 live stream will be at, let's see, 11 a.m. Bali time tomorrow. So that's 10 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. AEST. So that is our next one. So we have 3 days in a row. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we'll skip a day and we'll be back on Friday, and then we'll skip a day and then we'll be back on Sunday. So it's literally live streams throughout the week. We start on Monday, we end on Sunday. So I am excited to share more of this content, more of this information, and definitely will be diving into and giving you guys some really good tools that you can use at home to begin to shift this reality that we're all living in right now. If you already know that you are ready to dive in, like if you're like, nope, I already know, I'm tired of this, I want to shift this, I'm ready to go all in on changing my reality. Ouroboros 3, which is my quantum wealth repatterning, the intensive one that I talked to you about, it is starting on February 20th. And so here's the lead page for that. You can definitely go check that out. And there is a payment plan available, but this is the deep work, right? This is pure wealth alchemy. This is transmutation of all of this stuff. This is raising of your base level consciousness so that you can take back your financial destiny. So Ouroboros, open for registration now. We're going to be dropping content in there this week. We've already dropped some really epic content, so there's stuff ready for you to go do now if you're feeling called. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks for taking your time. And you know, I believe that we have three really, like our three most valuable resources are our time, energy, and money. So if you've joined me here today for this live stream event, it means that you've invested two of your most precious resources with me, and I am eternally grateful for that. I'm so glad to have those of you that are new to the community here with me. Make sure that you register for the event, because I don't want you to miss anything as far as the future live streams in this series or any other important content. So even if you're already a part of my mailing list, go register. You click the link and register so that you can get access to the free course. And I think that's it. I love you all. Have an amazing day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you are watching this live stream or you're watching the replay. And remember, it is your divine birthright to be wealthy. Mwah.